Legends, welcome back to the channel. This little video, we're going to teach you how you should be allocating your time as a face-to-face trainer if you want to grow an online business, whether that is on the side of your face-to-face business or whether that is as the main thing to take over your face-to-face business so you have more time, freedom, and enjoyment in life. Giddy up. This session is the intention is for it to be really short and sweet, so less than 10 minutes. These videos, our goal is to make them super unscripted, but also really, really valuable for you guys watching. So with that, I'd love to get into sharing with the guys what their schedule should be looking like if they are, say, maybe starting out as a busy PT and transitioning to wanting to either do online on the side or in conjunction with their face-to-face and then scaling from there. So we've got the whiteboard up. Yeah, we've got it ready to go. We'll do some drawings and stuff. So dude, the big challenge, I think, for most personal trainers starting out is that they're spending a whole lot of time working in their business, doing sessions on the gym floor. And if you're spending 40 hours a week on the gym floor, you don't really have much time to build it, to work on the business or do much else.
Totally.
And I guess the challenge of that is that when you are spending all your time doing that, there's, again, we said in the reel on Instagram, it's like you can't have your freedom without putting time into the things that allow you to have it. And that means marketing, building systems, doing sales, all of that. So let's walk through and we'll do a bit of an example schedule of what most PTs, I guess, look like through their day.
Yep.
Doing sessions in the morning, sessions at night, probably some even during the day, and then potentially what it does look like and how to consolidate their time a little bit more, have more leverage in their business.
For sure. So I guess where we'd start, if we think about a busy PT, I'm not going to say, some say, I don't do a double shift. Some of them, they do double shift some days. Let's look at the busy day. Usually they wake up.
Because there's generally going to be two kind of groups, isn't there? There's going to be the people that are super busy doing 50, 60, 70 sessions a week. Then there's going to be the people that maybe haven't been in the game as long or haven't been able to build their business up to the point where they are super busy. So maybe they've got 30, 40 sessions a week.
Yep.
But I think this still applies to both.
Totally. So I've just put here the super busy person doing the 60 sessions, and we might use the example of Hayden or someone, and then we've got someone who's in a build phase and they're probably at the 30, 40 session mark. So you wake up nice and early, maybe you have breakfast, more likely most don't.
Yep. Coffee.
Start at the morning. I would say either trainers are starting at either 5 or 6 a.m. for PT. We've got some starting as early as 4:30 in the morning. That's super driven. Typically, I find that they work through till, if we say 10 a.m. So let's just call this sessions.
Yeah, they'd have a session, I'd say, at about 9 and then wrap up around 10, I'd say. Hey.
Yeah. So whether that's a mix of one-on-one, two-on-ones, small groups, they're working through. Then you're usually a little bit hungry at that stage. So I imagine you have a break and you will eat and then maybe do some admin. Then they will typically pick up a little bit more work and say work at least till 1 or 2 p.m. And then...
So they're doing sessions. So they eat and do admin maybe 10 to 11.
Yep.
11 o'clock. They've got lunchtime sessions.
Yes.
Yep.
And then it's kind of middle of the afternoon break time. And they always say, I've got this bit of a gap in my day. So, I don't know whether they literally say that they're living the dream and they go and have a nap in the middle of the day or bullshit. Yeah. That's the story you told yourself.
You shouldn't necessarily need a nap in the middle of the day.
No, you shouldn't. And then obviously somewhere after this time, whether they've got a break, they like to train.
Yep.
And then you kind of get into your afternoon block, probably from say 4 till 7. Again, sessions. So this is their busy day. And Matt, when you talk about super busy, the way I kind of categorize is if you look at, there's two parts to it. You've got, and I always say there's two things in your business that you're looking at. You're looking at, time and you're looking at money, right? These guys that are super busy have got no time and they've got good money coming in, right? And I say good money, guys here are between $3,000 and $5,000 a week.
Yep.
PT on the gym floor, busy.
Yep.
And then you've got the building. They're probably somewhere around the, time-wise, their time...
Got more time, but less money, essentially.
Their time, okay, yeah. And again, money, okay.
Could be better. Yeah.
Yeah. So look, they're always looking to grow their life. So one of the things about this, guys, is that if you look at it and we talk about working on versus in your business, you're usually working 95%.
No, yeah. Even for the guys that are building, they might not have those sessions during the middle of the day. They might just have, maybe 3 or 4 hours of sessions in the morning or night, and it's still 6 to 8 hours a day of sessions, right? Which again doesn't leave much time or energy for really doing the things that build or grow a business.
No,
because our whole goal is not necessarily you don't want to be doing fucking one-on-one sessions until you're 65. Like, because if you don't have a family yet, and then you want to have a family, you want to have kids, so you're gonna want to spend time with them. You don't want to do school pickup and drop off and be there for them. You're not gonna be able to do that if you're doing sessions all day. The other part is like, what about you? What about the things that you want to do?
We talk about, like, let's just say, I say ballpark around our niche. They're typically around 28. I say the 28-year-old is, they're busy. Look, you're pretty successful. Like, income-wise, you're in the top 10% of the income bracket of Australia, right? On average, right? But guys that are 28 and moving into, we get also a lot of guys that are up around the 35 to 40-year-old mark as well. Like, at 28, you're like crushing it. You can focus on work. You're building a really good income. Maybe you got a missus or a partner, the other way around, and you're thinking about, right, like, maybe am I going to marry this person? Like, so you start saving for things. You want to buy a house. You start thinking about these things, right? So you need to make good money, right? But at the same time, if you start moving more towards this 35 to 40, if you're doing this, where's the time for your partner?
Yeah, partner, family.
Your family.
Yourself.
You literally, if you're doing this, guys, you're at work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but I get to go and have lunch with them in the day. Well, maybe if they're around, if they're really young, then what about it when they finish school and then you're just not there and you're not helping out with anything?
What about if your partner works?
I tell you, my missus got to the point where, like, babe, I need some help. Where do I want to go from here? This is the average, very busy PT.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's not a huge difference between a super busy and the building. It's still, again, like 6 to 8 hours, maybe sometimes more of sessions. I guess what do the guys need to do if they're in one of those two situations? Because I think, like, I remember when we were doing a module for the retreat that we ran, and a big part of it was around this, like the time hacking module, right?
Yep.
And the big component was around, like, when you realize, like, most of your time is spent working in the business, like, you've got no time to work on the things that create leverage for you. Knowing what I know now around marketing, sales, growing a business, if I was in that situation, I would deliberately almost sabotage my face-to-face and cut the amount of sessions I was doing down. In the worst case scenario, if I had no other choice, I would halve the amount of sessions that I'm doing and take a hit to my income on purpose, just so I could get back that time, so I could actually work on the business and build the systems and the leverage that I need. Because I know that 3, 4, 5, 6 months later, that is going to pay then huge dividends, and I'm going to have an asset, or at least a more leveraged business that produces income for me without it necessarily taking as much of my time. Yeah, I have the benefit of, like, having been through the journey and knowing, as you do, of course, knowing that is what it takes, right? But it doesn't mean you necessarily have to cut all of your face-to-face sessions out. It doesn't mean you have to tell clients that you can't work with them anymore. There is a smarter way to do things. And the way that we teach our students is by consolidating a lot of their one-on-one sessions into either semi-private or small group hybrid, right? And hybrid meaning they've got an online component that allows them to support those sessions. So all their clients have their own access to their own, to Everfit or something like that, where they've got their program, they've got their actions, you're actually able to coach them and give them more support for a cheaper rate, essentially.
Yeah.
If you can go into and consolidate a lot of your one-on-one sessions into something like small group or semi-private, it means that you are now multiplying your leverage by 3, 4, 5, 6 times, depending on how many people you get into a session. Which means, as we've experienced with some of the guys, Mary, Hayden, for example, who started out doing 60, 70 sessions a week, that they can cut their hours down on the gym floor to like 20, which is like 1/3 of what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to highlight the biggest reason why you want to make change. And we talk a lot about this in our content. So if you've watched it, I want to recap it, but the biggest cost is with your model is that you get paid when you work. And because that's how you're used to it, and this was the biggest paradigm shift for me that I want to share. When you do this, when you go on holiday, and guys, I played footy. I had ankle reconstruction, shoulders, 2 ACLs. When I didn't work, I didn't get paid. And I was just like, fuck this. Like, and I'm smart. I'm a financial planner. I think smart about business. So I went, right, this is not smart. I need to fix this because my money would run out within 3 weeks, even if I was making $4,000 a week, right? So all your value is on training at the moment. We want to change that. We want to put the value on coaching. That's what online looks like. When we bring in online or hybrid model to support you in person.
Yeah, the training is the stuff in the gym. The coaching is the stuff outside of it.
Correct. The other problem is you don't get paid when you're sick. You don't get paid when you take time off or when your clients have the same thing. They also see you as a trainer. So that's where your value is. So the second they don't see the value, they're like, why am I paying him? I'm not coming. I didn't come to a session this week. Then you're adjusting your fucking debits. Your income fluctuates,
Trying to make
500,
makeup
1,000
sessions.
Yeah, you do makeup sessions, which is fucking so like guys like, for example, Hayden at Retreat. We ran a retreat the other week with 15 trainers, was saying he was just sick of like, I was always just trying to be the nice guy, squeezing everyone in. And that's what keeps you fucking stuck on the hamster wheel of always chasing income and you're always, time poor and exhausted. So I wanted to just highlight that. So yes, one of the biggest shifts we make is, I always say this, like one-on-one should be premium, done for you, high level.
Expensive as fuck, essentially. It should be easily twice as like 2 to 3 times the price of what you'd be charging for semi-private or small group.
But PTs just charge based off whatever someone else is doing in the gym and, they've been around for 5 years, I've been around 7, so I'll charge $5 a session more. I don't know how you make it up, but
it's supposed to be really expensive because then that positions the value for semi-private and group training.
Yes.
Right? It makes those appear more valuable because you're able to give them the same experience, the same level of support in something like semi-private. They get then not just the sessions, but they're getting coached outside of the gym because you've got things set up in a way that, we call it the core delivery system. So you're able to actually give them support outside of the gym around their eating, their habits, their sleep, their recovery, making sure they're staying on track, managing their stress and the things that come up in life, of course. So there's a whole lot more that goes into it. And so it ultimately is a far better value exchange for the client and for you because you're making 3, 4, 5 times the amount of money for the amount of time that goes into it.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to cover off that you go from one-on-one, and I always ask you this question. I want you to think about it. If you've been around for 5 years and you average out, you're doing 30, 40 sessions a week, how many is that across a year? Like how many one-on-ones? That's 30 times 50. I don't know. That's a lot.
21 sessions, quick math.
Hey, it could be 1,500 a year, right? Times you've done thousands and thousands of one-on-ones. You're really good at one-on-one. That's why it becomes oddly after a while, set and forget, don't have to think, boring, and you become stale because you're just always churning. You want to move to something that's going to be more challenging. Your next step as a coach is to move to something like semi-private or more leverage something, but semi-private is as good as one-on-one, but it's 3 people in a session. I think that's the sweet spot where you're becoming more of an advisor or a consultant to the client. You're not like literally always taking the weights off, and you're helping them understand in their training and everything you've set up, how to actually coach themselves so that if you go away on holiday, whatever, they know how to do what they're doing, right?
And they can continue to show up, do the things that get the results, which means they get better results, but it also means that you're able to continue coaching them when you go away or when you get sick, because again, you've got that hybrid element that allows you to continue coaching them and continue giving them value and continue helping them to show up and get the result that they're paying you to essentially get, right? Yes, let's show an example of what things should look like. So once you've done that transition, so that you've got much more time for you to actually grow something online, do something that's much more leveraged. Because again, this is the other element that people don't think about is, what happens when you get to retirement? Like, do you know how much money you want to live off and what you're going to need to be able to produce that in passive income when you get to retirement? Because most people think about their super. They might have a bit of money in their super, but even if you have 250 grand, 500,000 or whatever in super, yes, it might make a 6 to 10% return depending on how good the fund is. But like, are you going to be able to live off that? Like, you might have 10 years on that.
People just
It's not very comfortable.
Guys, I was a financial advisor before I was a personal trainer. Personal trainers don't even put money away for super. You're only thinking about the now, which means you're only ever surviving. Our goal in life is to ascend. You got Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Survival is the bottom one. We need to step out of that and start ascending towards self-actualization, living your fucking greatest purpose, living the most highly leveraged version of your life as possible, and being able to have all the things. So in a nutshell, I just want to show you very quickly. So guys, there is a whole process. We walk people through this, like their whole transition. They never lose, they gain back time. So guys like, for example, Hayden, doing this kind of model and running 60 sessions a week, has been able to condense his diary by looking at his week and going, right, I want to work really 4 days a week. So we look at this block of, say, most people will work 8:30 to 5:30, like they work a day. It's a 8.5 hour day. And so they start, and it's usually the middle of the day. If you're a trainer and you've got coaching in person, this is what I did. Mine was 6, to be honest, because I went, no, fuck 5. Like, no way. But 6 o'clock, I started at 6 a.m. And how many sessions can you do between, 11 a.m.? Well, I looked at semi-private and went 6, 7, 8, have a break, coffee, bite something to eat, and then do 2 more sessions. I was done by 11. That's 5 sessions there, 3 people in each, 15 clients have been seen. People couldn't believe I walked out of the gym at 11. They're like, where's Luxon going?
Yep, finish your day.
How's he done? Like a personal training manager, like, why aren't you working more?
And you're doing equal or more sessions than, because you consolidated three to 6 people per session, right?
In that model, mate, I was making over 5K a week. Wednesday
working 6 to 11
to Thursday, doing exactly the same thing, right? And then
4 days a week, yeah.
And then what you've got is you've got the whole rest of the day. Now, obviously, you've got to fit your training in somewhere. Maybe your training's in the afternoon, wherever you ultimately want to put it. Maybe it's
easily
morning.
got 3-4 hours though, where you can work on the business, where you can create content, do sales
Exactly.
calls, build systems, like actually build something that creates value for the marketplace without it being attached to your time, which is the key here. That's what a real business is, right? It's not like, because if you're just trading time for dollars, you own a job. You don't actually own a business, because the second you stop is the second the business stops making money. That's not a business. A business is able to generate revenue without it being attached to your time. So yeah, time to train, time to be a human. And
You've got other things that I'm sure you value outside of work. And that's where you can, if you've got a partner, spend time together, cook good food, whatever. I go and play with my kids and switch off. Everything goes on charge. Don't think about work after 4 o'clock, because it's just, I go into dad mode. But whatever your version of that is very, very leveraged. But guys, I want you to understand that eventually this time, and this is where we've got guys now, because they're doing the content, the sales, and time into their systems that they're building online, this time within a 12-month period replaces that.
Yep.
So you literally, if you were making 3K here,
or at least gives you the choice to replace it, right?
the choice. But a lot of these guys, for example, Hayden, he's like, when this hits the 2K mark, I've got the choice. But honestly, guys, if you asked yourself, if you had 3 to 5K coming per week in online, and you realize you've been busting your ass in this model for years and years and years, and it's up and down, and the same thing you got to fill, versus this being so much more leverage and taking you, 15 hours for delivery here, and you can only see it growing from the same amount of effort as it goes in, I'm pretty sure you're going to go, this is a bit of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Once you know, I guess, like where you're going as well, like in terms of what you need for retirement and, what you need in assets to produce that passive income in retirement, it makes things very simple to make the decisions of what you really need to spend your time doing today. It gives every single thing that you do today context and meaning. It's the why. People always talk about, know your why, right? Knowing your why is like, to me, is not just about why you do things. It's for my kids and it's for that, but it's like knowing, cool, I know that I want to have the choice of whether I work or not by this age. And to have that choice, I need this amount in assets and this amount in passive income. In order to get there, my business needs to produce this much revenue, which means I'm putting this much into assets, and I've got the systems and things in place for my business to be able to do that. That is a why. That is like, you've got a vision for your life and a plan on how to get there. And once you've got clarity on that, it gives all of this, like your schedule, context, and it helps you make decisions for what you spend your time doing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree. Guys, we did a whole thing on this, and I'd love to do this at another time and walk them through it, but it was a game changer. And look, Matt's 28. I don't know how young you guys are that are watching this. I'm turning 42 in December in a couple of weeks. I'm a lot closer. Like I'm 10 years off, well, 8 to 10 years off, exactly where I want to be, where that's the choice. And we're sitting in a brand new house that I've worked my ass off in the last 15 years and, doing projects and things that get you ahead. If you think about the income that you earn, you need to learn how to not just make good income, but you want to make it leverage. We've only got the same amount of time and, that we have. How do we leverage that as much as possible? Because we want to then put our income and be able to save elements of it and put it into things that are going to generate us an investment and an income. So if you can be smart and you can play a smart game, these days online, just when I started PT in 2007 was becoming a thing. Now online is a legitimate thing. And guys, I've been in this space now since 2015, having built businesses and made millions of dollars online. It's fucking awesome. Like, I get if you love in person, you can have both if you want. But when you realize how much of a business this is and you can leverage yourself so much more, the world's your oyster when you have those skills.
Yeah, big time. You look at someone like Matty who's doing, ridiculous amounts online, like very, very high.
Yeah, it's just you're doing 10K weeks and, 7K minimum on debits. Like you've got serious options. You've got time to build teams and really leverage yourself. And now you're looking at trainers to actually take delivery off your hands. Like to believe that that's possible.
It's not a far cry to take an online PT business to $1 million to $2 million a year. Like it's, I think for a lot of these guys, part of it is realizing that it is actually possible for sure. Like there are ways to do it that give you so much freedom and so much choice. And it's not something like, it doesn't have to be just a side income. It doesn't just have to be like you can turn this into something that funds a phenomenal life.
I think one thing that comes up for me, and I hear it because I've had 40,000 calls since 2015 with coaches, PTs, being in this space. But it's not all about the money. I can tell you right now, guys, it's not all about the money, but if you took what Matt said.
We'll be saying that when you're 65, living on $30.
Dude, when you think about your future and where you want to go and what kind of lifestyle you want, and we've mapped this out, there's two elements to your goals. There's selfish goals. Like I would love to live in a certain house and a certain lifestyle. And what does that cost? What would that look like? Like actually 3% of people in the world have clear goals, right? And then, so there's the selfish reasons, which is nothing wrong with that. And then there's the more altruistic. Like guys, we'll put this out there. We want 50 coaches at 10K per week, which is very much the start of having a solid business and a platform to then go to a whole nother level. Like if you want to help people, you are helping people. The impact you're helping is at a whole other level when you're at that level. So if you want to do that, see, we're driven by serving you guys. That's why we're here. Like it's a Friday afternoon and we're filming 6 pieces of content today that are huge, that are going to give you a lot of value. You need to have this paradigm shift. If you're playing a bigger game, I guarantee you what you're currently doing right now will not get you there. So in order to play the bigger game, once you have clarity and you see it, it makes everything have context. And if you want to play a big game, guys, this is what we are all about. But you're going to need to let go of whatever got you here in order to get to that next step.
Yeah, what got you here won't get you where you want to be, for sure.
Yeah.
Great little ending to that. Team, thanks for joining us. If you want some more help to know how to build an actual leverage business like this, whether it's online, whether it's in person, we've got some resources down below. Take a look at the description. We've got the links and everything like that. They're all free of charge. I'll get to you. Go and enjoy. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.
Peace.